Friday. Greetings, everyone, depending where you are joining us from in the world. My name is Amerley, Asante-Armar, and you are tuned into an extraordinary live discussion Women in Political Leadership series that I run. We're having a special one today in view of recent events. I am, please bear with me, the sound is gone. Okay. I am one of a number of panelists that we're having today, as we will be looking at a very recent event, that being Grand Rising, everyone. I'm hoping you can hear me. I think we've already had one technical hitch. If you can't hear me, please do let me know. So let's start again. My name is Amerley, Asante-Armar. You are tuned in to today's live discussion, which is African Women in Political Leadership. And I am honored to be joined by a number of wonderful women leaders for us to look at the recent appointment of the, well, I should address her as Madam Samia Suluhu Hassan, who has just been appointed as Tanzania's first female and Muslim president, unfortunately amidst the unfortunate departure, the passing of the late John Pombe Magafuli. So let's get straight into it. I'm joined by, like I said, a number of women, and the first I would like her to introduce herself, Miss Sasha Seraphine, joining us, I believe, from Tanzania. But please, sister, unmute yourself and please do introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hi everyone, my name is Sasha Seraphine Bote. Yes, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Yes, okay. My name is Sasha Seraphine Bote. I'm an East African woman. I was born and bred in Kenya, but I live in Tanzania now, empowering the girl child of East Africa. So I'm very, very happy to have been invited here tonight. I'm willing to learn from the other women as they join us. I'm very, very happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Sister Sasha. Sister Sheila Chebet, please do introduce yourself to our viewers this evening.
Hello everyone, hello viewers. Thank you very much for joining us today. I am Sheila Chebet. I was born and bred in Kenya. I currently live in the UK. I am a life coach, and today I'm happy to be here. As Sister Naha said, I am very happy to be here to talk to you people about what has happened. So it is a sad news indeed that we lost a hero, but in the process we've also gained a great Madam President. So thank you people for being here with us. Thank you, it's an honor.
Indeed, thank you very much, Sister Sheila. We are shortly to be joined by Sister Bimbaye. Sister Bimbaye, can you hear me?
If yes, so, I can hear you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Welcome to the live discussion. Please do just briefly introduce yourself to the audience.
Good evening, good day, wherever you may be hearing me from. My name is Vimbaye Chuswa. I live currently in the UK, but I was born and bred in Zimbabwe. So yes, one of the queens in Africa, Africa queens here. And I am so happy to be here. I am so blessed to be among other powerful women of Africa while we celebrate our new crowned queen. Thank you so much for the invitation.
My absolute pleasure. And whilst we're not necessarily here to talk about ourselves, you've heard brief introductions for our panelists. We have maybe a personal interest, being African women, talking about this issue. Some of us have interest in politics. I myself am an independent presidential aspirant for Ghana. We have Sister Sasha, who is an independent or at least a presidential aspirant for Kenya, and Sister Vimbaye, who is also another political figure. We can hear more about that later. But I think what we all want to affirm first is that if I can speak on behalf of our sisters, that we send, our love, our condolences to our brothers and sisters in Tanzania who are mourning the loss of the late great John Pombe Magafuli. So we send, our love and good wishes to all of that. And without wanting to be insensitive, we also want to look at what is the next step. And we can say that, or some of us may say that what he did was he left a great legacy, perhaps, in passing on the mantle to Madam Samia Suluhu Hassan, the first female president in Tanzania, and some would also say the first president in East Africa, making the distinction between the presidential role in Ethiopia being largely ceremonial. I'll leave that open to the sisters to say what they think, but first of all, I would just like to invite each of you, starting with Sister Sasha, just to let the viewers know, what is your view on what this appointment of the new president means for us as women, for Africa and the world?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to shout out my condolences to the Tanzanian people. We are very sorry that we lost a great leader in Africa, someone that has left us with so much power, because he has shown us as African children that it is doable. It is doable. Magufuli has proved. He's done so many projects and he didn't borrow money. So I believe the other presidents in Africa can do that. So may he rest in peace and may he be a leader in heaven. So, and as I say that, it's difficult for us here right now in Tanzania to celebrate because people are still mourning. But as for me, I am an African. In ancient Africa, we never used to mourn death. We used to celebrate. It's only that everything that was us was taken away from us. But we never used to mourn. We used to celebrate when people die. We only have one tradition in Kenya that is remaining with that. It's the Luo community. They celebrate when somebody goes. So I will choose to celebrate Magufuli because he has inspired me so much. And I'm an African activist and I was supporting his policies despite many people disagreed with him. Many didn't like him. The West have always taught us to hate us. So I've educated myself about us and I loved what he was doing. So I am not going to mourn him. I will celebrate that Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan has taken the seats because Magufuli groomed her. Magufuli groomed her, and there is something he must have seen in her to choose her to be the vice president of Tanzania. And I believe for us as African women, this is a platform to show us that as girl children, there is nothing that we can't be. And education is the best equalizer, like the late Nelson Mandela used to say. So I believe this has opened a bigger platform for us. For me, being an East African woman, this is the first time it's happening in our history. So I'm very, very happy about this and I will celebrate it. And as I mourn Magufuli, because I'm not mourning him, I'm celebrating him.
Thank you so much, Sister Sasha. Sister Sheila, please do share your views? What is us as women, for Africa, for the world?
Thank you. That's a very good question. For me, what this means for me, it's a story of hope. It's a story of healing. It's a story of greatness. We have lost a hero. We've lost a warrior. I did cry. I'm not one to cry for politicians, but I cried for Magufuli. I cried because for me, he stood for many things that many African leaders have not stood for. First and foremost, he stood against the Western oppression and the Western extortion, the Western corruption, and the manipulation, the brainwashing. Magufuli stood up against that. And it earned him a lot of bad blood with his neighboring countries, including my own country, Kenya. But he stood firm. He was sold to the cause. So for him to die, it has left me in this state. I was in a state of shock. I was in a state of sorrow. I was in a state of grief. But then I knew in my heart, there was this knowing that a man like him who goes against the waves normally knows he sticks out, normally knows his head is out there. So he does make preparation. He just doesn't go blind. So he would make preparation knowing that anytime he can be taken out. So that gives me hope. And the hope here is that he knew he can be taken out. And going by the constitution of Tanzania, when a president is taken out, it's normally the vice president that takes over. So I'm thinking that all the time he was going against the current, he always knew that if anything happened to me, my vice president will take over. And that is a message of hope in me because I knew he chose the vice president. He chose Mama Samia. She was not imposed upon him. Today in the morning, I was watching a clip in which Mama Samia was giving before the elections happened, when they were choosing the vice president. This is 6 years ago. And she was talking about how she was chosen by him, how it was a meeting of people. They came and they sat and they chose her. This is something that happened 6 years ago, just before even this death happened. So now she is there, she's sitting at the top. What to me, that means to me, it is someone that has been destined to be there. So she's been there, she is there to take over the mantle from where Magufuli left her. Why I say there is healing here, there is healing of the nation when we have a woman sitting at the top. All this, ever since these colonial borders came and nations like Tanzania and Kenya and Ethiopia and Uganda came about, we always have to recognize that these are colonial borders. Ever since these colonial borders came, we've not had a female president in Tanzania. I'm focusing on Tanzania because we're focusing on Tanzania. In Kenya, it's the same thing. So now we have a female president sitting at the top. That is a healing for us. We're seeing that, yes, it is possible for a woman to sit at the top. It's also a healing for us that go through things like death, grief, sorrow, and all this. We also can see that great things, great beginnings can start from sad endings. So it's a message of hope. But the biggest message that sends to me, the one that personally touches me, is it shows us where the rot is and how we can start cleaning up the rot. The rot here being that when people heard that Mama Samia was going to be sworn in, it was not necessarily with good news that the African people received the news. They were not standing up and shouting. They were saying, oh, there's a woman, oh, and she's Muslim. Can she really handle it? And they were talking like she was not there by merit, that she was not vice president by merit. A topic that I knew, had it been a man vice president, they would not have spoken like that. So it showed the rot whereby they were okay for her to be there as a vice president, but her being sitting at the top was something that they were not ready for. And it showed that. And we came up and we fought this. I fought this. I've seen my sisters in the groups we are. I've seen you fighting this. I've seen you coming to speak for our sister, Mama Samia. She's an African woman like us. So I've seen our women come and speak. And I've also seen our men join. Our men have also come and joined and spoke on her behalf and said, you know, she will do a good job. No need to start punishing her for mistakes she's going to commit in the future because she happens to be a woman president. So there is healing for me that has come from this, from many, many angles. And it is indeed a great thing to have a woman there at the top. It gives hope to so many of us, to both men and women. It gives so much so much motivation for us, both men and women, to know what, that at the top, we can all reach there. And that even when bad things happen, we don't put on sackcloth and go on the street and say we're giving up on life. We pick up and continue with life, and knowing that, death is not the end, it's just the beginning. Thank you. I don't know where Sister Now went. So do we wait or?
No, we continue. We just continue.
Yeah, okay.
Hello, hi.
Nice, yeah. Sister Nice,
okay,
yeah.
But it's fine. You see,
yeah.
Women can organize. Go ahead, Sister Bumbai. Let's hear from you, please. Sorry, I was distracted.
No, that's fine. It happens. As for me, I'm one person who at one time was saying, you know what, we have to come, being here in Europe, we have to go into the European systems and try and sort things out from this side, right? Try and amend the situation that is bothering Africa, the problems of Africa from this side. But it took up some growing up, some recognizing, who am I actually? And now looking back, say actually, you know what? If we are going to change this as African people, we, the mothers, we, the girls, we have to get involved. And we are not only getting involved from this side where we are saying, the West, that's where the problem is, but we are looking back home and say, let's clean up ourselves, where we are working on ourselves, where we are getting involved ourselves. So coming back to this situation that has been brought up by so much sorrow, so much pain among Jubilee, that, Tanzania has been doing really great. And if we look at pictures, I was seeing some videos that were being posted around, compiled together to show and celebrate the work of President Magafuli. It's a wow. Where were we when this was happening? Because the media was full of how evil this man is. The media was full of how he is disruptive, how he is but they were not showing how these beautiful hospitals were being built, how these beautiful roads were being built, how these airports were. They were not showing none of that. It was only, he is just been given money for the COVID. But they didn't say also that, he challenged them to say, you know what, how did we get a goat or a papai got, COVID? How does that work? That part of the story was kind of put aside, but only concentrated on, he is saying we don't want COVID for our people. There is no COVID in Tanzania, right? But then we look at it to say, okay, he is not the only one who said COVID, there is an issue with COVID. We look at the Scandinavian countries, my sisters. How many Scandinavian countries didn't close their borders? How many Scandinavian countries stopped to say, you know what, we are not going to do A, or we are not going to make our people put on masks? Did we hear a shout there to say the Scandinavian people are not closing their borders completely? They are not doing the full lockdowns? Did we hear any shout there? Nothing. But now an African president dares to say, not in my country, until things have been proved. And then he becomes the worst of the West. Right. But he stood up. We all knew that it might happen. We didn't pray, we didn't wish for it to happen. But we have seen it happen. History has shown it. But as for me, I say enough is enough. To have our great leaders being taken out like chickens, one by one, it shouldn't happen. It should be like the last of the last, where we say, if our people stand up to build their countries, we should know that they are safe. We should know that they are put in this service so that our people can benefit from it and live. So now I don't want to be in a situation where I am partly celebrating that Mama has been given the crown. But at the same time, I'm fearing for her life, that if she continues on that path, something will happen to her. I don't want to be in that position. I don't want her to be in that position. And as I sit here, still with the big grins in my face, tears on one side, I celebrate her to say she didn't just wake up and she was sitting there. She worked for this position. She worked for this position to be where she is today. Right. Like I said, as we are crying to say, oh, we have had a big loss, we are also saying, heads up, Mama, you have done it. For me, as an African woman who's also going back to Africa, to say, you know what, my brothers and my sisters, we have to work hard. They are good examples. You know, like we always say with the COVID, on one side, it showed us like that, you know, people died. A lot of people died. A lot of mistakes happened. But on the same time, we as an African people got the guts to wake up to say, oh, okay, actually we can survive by ourselves. Oh, so we can invent things. Oh, sisters, if we look at us here, it's one of that COVID situation that we are sitting here today. Is that not so? It is one of those situations that in bad things, sometimes good things can happen. And we forge ahead. We pick up what with the pieces that are still there. We build something and we move on. And I'm saying, you know what? We are here for you, Mama's mama, sister, queen, to say thank you so much for showing us that, you know, it's difficult. Yes, we were discussing in our group. You remember that that article that was saying, you know, she was just given this useless post. She was just like put in a corner. You know, if you look at that post, there was nothing positive. You know, they were talking to her about Mama Samia as if she's somebody with a brains, as if she just woke up and she was there. But we all know those who have been holding positions. It doesn't matter what position you are holding. If you are a female leader, wherever you are, it's a fight to keep your head. And if you can manage to hang on and get to that high post where she is, she has done it and we celebrate it. Thank you so much for giving me the time to talk.
Thank you so much, Sister Vimbaye. There's a lot in what you said, but I want to allow Sister Francesca to speak because I know there's issues with the connectivity. She'll be back on, I'm sure. Whilst we're waiting, Sister Adjoa Adome is trying to join us. Welcome, Sister Adjoa. You are live with us now, and we're just... Welcome. Can you just briefly... You're welcome. Can you briefly just introduce yourself to the viewers and then just let us know in your own words what, you know, this recent appointment of Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan as the first female president of Tanzania, what that means for you or for us as women, for Africa and the world.
Okay, thank you, and sorry for coming in so late. I was battling the technology, but thank you and welcome.
That's okay.
Welcome to everyone that I see some familiar faces, but anyway, let me jump in quickly. To be honest, I don't have an opinion yet. On the one hand, she was appointed by President Magafuli, and he must have thought it through. But one of the things that I have seen with presidents, not just in Africa, generally, is that the vice presidents are not they don't really necessarily think seriously about them replacing them if anything happens, because they're not thinking that anything will happen. So usually it's not necessary. Sometimes it could be looked at as someone who isn't a threat to you. So I wondered about that, but obviously President Magafuli was no idiot. You know, he obviously was a thoughtful person, and he thought through things. So
Sister Adjoa, can you hear us?
in terms of
I think we may have lost
her, what that someone
Is everyone hearing Sister Adjoa?
No, I can't hear her. It's stuck. I can't.
Continue.
Oh. Okay, Sister Adjoa, I think you're cutting out slightly. Okay, I think we'll wait and see if the connectivity comes back a bit stronger. In the meantime, please, Sister Francesca, please do go ahead, introduce yourself briefly, and let us know your views on this recent appointment of Mama Samia as the first female president of Tanzania. Can you hear me, Sister Francesca?
I'm assuming you're trying to speak to me, but I can hardly hear. My connection is very, very iffy. It's very poor.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Please do share with us your thoughts, your views on Mama Samia's recent appointment.
First of all, like, I just want to say I'm sorry to Tanzanians and to Africa. I'm getting a bit emotional because for the first time in many years since I was born in Africa, I saw a man who was prepared to stand against corruption and name things for what they were and make a turnaround that is yet to be recognized or realized by any other president that I know in Africa. The airline, the bridges, what the president of Tanzania did. So he defied the narrative that Africa is poor. Africa is not poor. Africa is rich. And he was on his way to tell the world, to set the record straight about the African narrative. So for that, as an African child, a student of development studies, where I learned that Africa is rich, but it's called poor because it's according to other people's views that Africa is said to be poor, but we all know the truth. This man stood for that truth. So I want to say I'm sorry to Africans about the loss of President Magafuli. To me, he was not a saint. And everyone has their strengths and has their weaknesses. But when somebody dies, in my culture, we look at the good things that they have done and we let them rest in peace. So may he rest in peace. I have enough respect. As for the new president, who happens to be a woman, I celebrate feminine power. Here is my message to Africans and to the world. Feminine power is different. Don't compare her with men because she's a woman. In a woman, there is a mother, there is a servant, there is a provider, there is a protector, there is a peacemaker. These are unique qualities that you can only find in the feminine. So congratulations to the president of Tanzania. Congratulations to the East African region. I pray that that woman does us proud as African moms and African women. I pray that she leads from a sage and she shuts out the noise. The world has already started in the media, the narrative is negative. Even when people have done good, they still find something bad to say about them. So here's the message to Africans. Let's support her. Let's rally behind her. She is able. She hasn't started, so we don't know how good she is. So can we stop the bashing before the show begins? Because the show is just beginning. She said, let's not point fingers. Let's focus on uniting. That's the feminine leading. When the feminine leads, they focus on unity. And I trust her word. I don't know her, but I know there's one common thing we share, feminine power. And I have confidence in that. May Tanzania prosper under her. May she prove all the people wrong who are saying women cannot lead. She was the second choice. This and that. She is a leader. That's why she's there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Francesca. That was powerful. I am pleased to invite Sister Candy Kisseih onto the platform. You come in right in the middle of our discussion. So please just introduce, brief the viewers, and if you can let the viewers know what your sentiment is, what your thoughts are about the recent appointment of Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan as the first female president of Tanzania.
Oh, I thought I would listen a little bit and warm up before I gather my thoughts but yeah, I mean, I am Kiki. I have a Kiki's Chat show. It's always for women, by women to women sort of thing. And so I'm really proud that Samia Suluhu has managed to become the president of Tanzania. Now, Tanzania is actually has been on the news for all sorts of reasons, even though the president has done great things, the late president has done great things for his country. He is only on the news because he has been against the coronavirus, and he has tested on animals, etc. And he was suspicious of what the agenda was. Now that we have Samia on there, I am just watching to see what what is it that she is going to do for her country, and how she is going to stand against all of what has happened before. Is she going to do an about turn and then be like all of the other heads of states of Africa who seem to have a morbid fear of the West and therefore seem to
Sister Candy, are you still there? I think we have slightly lost connection. So if that is true, I think why don't we move on, and we'll come back to her when her connectivity comes back. Sister Sasha, there's a question for you, basically saying, well, a comment, and about you meeting President Suluhu at some point and shaking hands with her. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, that was I met her in 2019 after the Zanzibar tourism show, and since my company was participating, I was amongst the people who were invited to have a cocktail dinner with her, and that's how I got to interact with her for very few minutes. And but I made sure that I told her that I'm very, very proud of her as an African woman, and for her being in that position. And when she won, I was so excited, because I know now that since I fight for the girl child of Tanzania and Zanzibar, I know now that we are going to move to the next level. We are going to empower more girls.
Okay, wow. That was short and sweet, but thank you. I appreciate that. Sister Kiki, Sister Candy, would you like to finish off where you were just before we lost your sound? Can you not hear me? Okay, one moment. Let me help you with your mic.
I'm okay now.
Apologies. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. I don't know where I got to, so I'm not sure. But all I'm trying to say is, I pray that, and I'm watching and I'm praying that she comes up and is as powerful as her predecessor. I want her to be even more so. Women have that power to stand on their own. I mean, Liberia, we have Sirleaf, and she's we haven't really heard anything negative about her, but she's not pandering to the West anyway, but she's just getting on with her country. And I just hope that we kind of have the same thing in Tanzania, because the minute Tanzania works, I tell you, it's going to work everywhere. If Tanzania works, it's going to work everywhere. And that's what we need. We need women to start pulling each other up. We need to see them to be as powerful as we know they can be. And that's me. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to be rooting for her, praying for her, that she does not fall back into being a yes person for the West. That's all I want. I want her to concentrate on her country, mother her country, do what they need, do the right thing for her country. Once she's on that percentile, all other women will have that chance. It will come. Do you know, I mean, there was a time when this is so far-fetched. It was like, no, I mean, the men are controlling things. But look, in America, we have Kamala Harris doing her thing. And now, by a fluke, now, I was having an argument this morning with somebody, and I said and they were saying, well, by chance. I said, it is those flukes that bring about success. It is that fluke, that chance, that, you know, we didn't pray for him to die. I didn't want him to die. In fact, when I heard he was dead, I prayed that it was not true. So, but it is a fluke. And by that fluke of a chance, women, wake up. Let's wake up. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you so much, Sister Candy. Absolutely. I mean, there is a common thread. I want to read this comment by Sister Najjar, because they were my sentiments when some people had expressed, okay, well, the country's in mourning. Should we be making much of this appointment? And Sister Najjar says, life is a cycle. Magufuli was a leader with vision. He did much. He has left a legacy and will be remembered more as powerful Pan-Africanist. He stands tall among his predecessor, Mwalimu. He cannot be forgotten. He has not been replaced nor discarded. He has gone ahead. In Africa, he has gone to the ancestors, a privileged place, like where we want to be. And he passed the baton on to a womb man, not a woman, a womb man. Wa Tanzania, somehow your country is always leading politics and leadership in Africa. So we look to you first. And that echoes some of the sentiments that our panelists have been talking about, that in their own right, they are, if we choose to see it, perhaps a shining light, you know, a country that is leading the way, but have not been given their due credit because it affects other people's agendas, other people's pockets. And it's important to call it out, because in our quest for unity, I sometimes wonder whether we think it's just going to be easy, whether we're just going to wake up one day and all of the people, you know, everybody's on the same page, we want to do the same thing, the same with uniting the women. And sometimes we fail to recognize that, whether you call it a fluke, as Sister Candy said, or this opportunity, this rare occasion, maybe that is the one thing that is going to be the springboard that we need to all get us on that path. And what I love about what has been said, especially when we look at the danger that Sister Vimbaye raised about Mama Samia being in such a high and key position, and we look at what Sister Francesca has been saying about stopping, if you like, stopping the negativity before it starts. It has already started. But as us, we women on this panel, it is within us, and I would say it's our duty to almost not look at Mama Samia and be like, yeah, good luck. Yes, it's good to be good luck, but how are we going to play a role to ensure that she has the protection, she has the encircling? Like Sister Candy, you talk about women, we need an entourage. Why can or how can we be her energetic entourage so she doesn't fall back into pleasing the West? Is it not really our place to put in, to be a force, to be a kind of preventative force? So the challenges that we have seen maybe our fellow women go through in the past, we offset them by really like it has been said, by really rallying around her in whatever way we can, whether that is by posting in support, whether it's by bringing women together like this to speak about her, to send her good energy, whether it is by pulling everybody down when they start spreading the negativity and the nonsense stories. I leave that open to the floor. How, instead of waiting for the negativity and everything to come, because it will come, because it always does come, and she is a first, she's a revolutionary, so it will come. So how does the panel feel about what is our role as women in either minimizing the impact of what is to come, or to some extent preventing the negativity that perhaps she may experience? Sister Sasha, would you like to go first?
Okay, fine. I'll be the first. I think Sheila mentioned that she watched the video when Honorable Suluhu did when the last elections. I watched the video. Actually, I'm very glad that I just watched it a few minutes right before you started the show. And she said she was talking about her journey from her lowest job, the way she went. I call it what Steve Jobs used to call connecting the dots. When you connect the dots in your life, you will be able to overcome a lot. Because when you start, and I would tell everyone, if you have not watched that video from Steve Jobs, Connecting the Dots, I would ask every woman to watch that, because it's really inspired me and it changed my life. He connects his life from the day he was born. He was supposed to be adopted. Then the papers were filled. The people who were supposed to adopt him, when the baby was brought and it was not a boy, it was not a girl, they declined. So when he's talking about his story all the way to being the founder of Apple, I learned a lot. And I think what I watched about Mama Samia today, it is the same thing as Steve Jobs. She connected the dots for the way she has gone all the way up. And I was so humbled when she mentioned that men used to call her names. And I was like, oh my God, so you've also been through this, you know? And Sheila can tell you in 2017, I was a victim of being called names in Kenya. I took a picture with our former Prime Minister. There is nothing that I was not called. I was in all newspapers. I was being called the H word, you know, like everything was fabricated about me. But I also know, and you know, these things are done by the government. And I know the government was doing that because I was also awakening. I'm part of the activists in Kenya. So I know the only thing that they do to diminish women is to call you a prostitute. So when I saw when she was talking about the way she has also been insulted, but she said, for a wise person, you don't answer back. I was feeling like, can I clap for myself? Because when they put me on all these newspapers, the first thing I did, I was receiving men calling in Swahili, calling a woman a prostitute is Malaya. I was receiving like 2 million Malayas on my comments per day, you know? And when she said that, I was like, oh my God. She said, for a wise person, you don't answer back. And she made me reflect of how difficult that time was. But instead of answering back, what I did was I started sharing my website. I started sharing my businesses. And then after that, Nas Daily did my show. Nas Daily, I know most of you know him. And I went viral now in the whole world. By the way, I said, my people, Kenyans don't know. I had opened that tour for 3 years. I had not received even one client. I was actually, I was planning how I'm going to close it. They gave me traffic. I brought so many people to Zanzibar because of that, instead of answering back. So women, we need to be strong. Since that time, I tell women, for me being called a prostitute, I wear that like a collar, like a degree, like a title, because you can call me that. You have not touched me. Call me that. You have not touched me. Most of the women from our mother and our grandmother's generation, they lost a lot of dreams because just being called that, like maybe she's working probably in a bar and she's married, they start to call her that, she has to quit her job. We are not quitting no more. We are not quitting. We are going all the way up, and we are going to step on patriarchy. We will step on patriarchy because the only strength that patriarchy has is calling African women names, the women that birthed them. So if you're a girl child of Africa and you're watching this, words have never killed anyone. Words have never killed anyone. There is no woman that rises up that has not been called names. Michelle Obama proved to us. They were even making pictures of her saying that she's a hermaphrodite, you know. They made pictures of her when they made her look like a baboon. Fine, let me be a baboon. It's not, as long as you're not physically hurting me, you can call me whatever you want, because that shows who you are. So African women, we are strong and we are not going down, not this time. As an East African woman, oh, a woman is on top there. And let me tell you, I know the struggles of a Muslim woman. So Mama Samia, you have opened the skies for us.
Thank you, Sister Sasha. Wow. Sister Sheila, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts on how we can combat the negativity or prevent it from starting is to connect dots, as Sasha said. But now my connection of the dots is to go back to the very beginning, to connect these dots to the African way of doing things. I was called a prostitute yesterday. Not one time, several times. And I was called that because I came to defend Mama Samia. Because these people, men, mainly call us African men, that call us prostitutes. And I came to defend Mama Samia, who was being called a prostitute in several groups just because she had been sworn in. And they say that no woman in politics gets up there without being a prostitute. And I came to call them out on it. And I got called a prostitute as well. And they didn't just use the word prostitute. They used many other big words. I must mention that none of these men knows me. We've never even met. They don't even know. I don't even think they know how I look like. I don't even think they know my real name because I use a different name with WhatsApp. Anyway, we need to connect the dots to the very, very past glory of the Africans that we were, our original ways. African men, the original African man, not this traumatized man, the man bitten by patriarchy and capitalism and white supremacy. The original African man honors the woman. He reveres the woman. He respects the woman. He knows that the woman is a creator, that it is through the woman that it comes from. So we need to connect the dots back to the very, very past, whereby we had that man that upheld the woman, not this man that sees a woman standing to talk and he starts calling her names purely because he is feeling emasculated that the woman is speaking. Our African men are and were real men. So whenever they got this behavior of putting down the woman, it is an African behavior, and we know where that behavior has come from. We need to give that behavior back to the people that brought it to us. So how we stop this is by calling out our men when they adopt this culture that isn't ours, this oppressive culture of putting the women down, this patriarchy, it's not African. When they call us out on that, when they call us these names, we need to remind them. And as mothers, this is part of the Mothers Foundation, and as mothers, these are our sons that we're bringing up. These sons that stand there and call women prostitutes. These are sons that have not been brought up well, that have not been brought up in the correct African way. So this is a journey for all of us, a task and a responsibility for all of us to connect the dots to the people that we want, the respected women, the people that will not get shocked that a woman is at the top. Because in our African culture, women being at the top was the norm. The woman in the home, she ruled, and the home is the smallest government. If a woman can run a home, she can run a government. We had women running kingdoms. We had the queens running empires. And now here we are, they're running a small colonial border where someone was running a whole empire, your border, and they're coming here calling you names because we've adopted a culture that's not ours. So for us, we connect the dots, but we connect the dots to the people that we are. And we shed away this foreign oppressive culture that we have adopted that's not ours. So it is time that I appeal to our women to have that presence, to have platforms like this where we speak. And in the social media, to speak there, our presence, let us be felt. And as Sasha says, let us be indomitable. Let us speak. Even when they call us these names, let us keep showing them that it's not these names that are going to deter us. And let's call them out on that. Like yesterday when I was called this name, I called them out on that. And I called out again, I called to the good men, the men that were not calling me names, but they were silent. They were silent as my name, as women were being called names, as I was being called names, as Mama Samia was being called names. So we need also to call out those good men and tell them, where are you when women are being attacked by your fellow men? Where are you? Why are you quiet? Why are you quiet when this is happening? Because this is not an African man. A man does not stand there. An African man does not stand there watching another man decimate a woman. So there is a lot of work for us, and the work is purely to call each other out when we are doing the wrong things, to speak, to occupy that space, and to know that we are regal as African women, and that we demand for that protection of African men, not the attack. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Sheila. And just timely with your views, Brother Stuart is saying, yes, where are the boys, the men learning to use these terms to generate women? Is it inside, outside the home forums of men? I know I have my view. Sister Sheila, do you quickly want to, because you did say it indirectly, but where are the boys learning to use these terms?
The boys are first learning to use these terms from home, from their fathers. It is the fathers. I would say it always starts from the home, and it starts from the relationship between the mother and the father. The father doesn't need to call the mother these names, but he needs to treat her in a way that these names fit the mother. So you would know a father that is honoring the mother, and you will know the father that's disrespecting the mother. It starts from that home, the way the brothers are treated against the sisters. And then from the home, it goes to the school. It goes to religion. We must talk about religion one day, because religion is the one place that has put the woman as a second-class citizen. It's taught the woman to submit to the man. It has said that the woman is the one that has brought sin. So it is something that is happening inside and outside the home, because what is happening outside is actually inside the home. And what's happening inside the home is what goes outside there. So it is in our homes, it is in our schools, it is in our places of worship, it is in our politics, it's in our education, it's literally everywhere. But this is the point whereby when you learn something that is not yours, when you've been taught something, you can unlearn it. And the African people have been taught this. These men have been taught this in the home and outside the home, and they can unlearn it, especially when we have conversations like this. This is how they unlearn. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Sheila. Definitely a conversation for another time. And relating back to what you said, in terms of the people we need to give it back to, those people who interrupted our history. So going back to a time before colonialism and slavery. So, but we will talk about that another time. Sister Vimbaye, please do tell us your thoughts. Yeah, how can we really show support, or what do you think our role, our duty is to minimize or prevent negativity coming to this matriarch who's just taking up this position to lead the country?
Like we once said somewhere today or in our groups, that education is the starting point. And we need the media. And the media is full of rubbish. And then that rubbish is what becomes the normality. And that is what becomes the day-to-day. And our people are quick to believe all sorts of rubbish that they hear from. And especially if it's Western media, it becomes the world gospel. So, like, as much as I know, like in our own groups, just us here, as we are, each one of us has got her own platforms, right? And so if we don't go to our own groups and we just stick in our own, like our own platforms, that's already like from there, we will reach many, many more people. So because our circles, if they get the good information and we put it out there, we will move more and more and more. So my call on this one is each one of us the first step starts with us. It starts with me to say, okay, from what I know, what is correct, of course. How do I put it out there so that others can get that information? How do I share this information so that others can know what really is going on? If I find something that is being said or that is being, spread about, that is not true. Am I going to have the courage to stand out and say, excuse me, no, this is not right. I found this, but here is contra information. Like in our group, we normally do that. If you come and you say something, bring your evidence. Bring your evidence to support what you're saying. If you're saying this person is doing nonsense, bring your proof that, okay, even if you have read it, you will say, I'm not the one who's saying, but this is what so and so have said. So I'm calling to our people, to ourselves, all the womb mothers, to say, you know what, girls, ladies, let's stand up. We all have our own platform, be it is just a Twitter account, be it it's just a YouTube account, be it it's your Facebook account, be it it's a personal page. Use that and uplift the other mother. Use that and uplift and bring corrections. That's one way of simply doing it, right? Because, as we are saying, of course, she is a president and she is now standing up there and it's cold, it's bitter up there if you are standing by yourself, right? But if she knows, somehow she'll get the information, or if we can send the information to her, to not say, like, sister, you are not standing there by yourself. You have others who are backing you up, right? And from all our different circles, I think that will be a starting point. Remember, she's not the only one who just got sworn in. We have our lady, another queen, the Nigerian one. She is standing there by herself as well. So if we have one woman standing in one place, she is a tower light and she is a target for destruction because she is standing there by herself. But when we broaden the base and create others who are standing on, like a pyramid system, right, where we are supporting each other, creating a large base and using all platforms that we have, I think we can really reach quite a lot. Like, as I know from our groups, we have like ladies who do talk shows, we have singers, we have, like DJs, we have like this channel that we have, and we are not paying much to be here. So it's not only about looking at channels that we will pay, and it's not all about like having like 20 hours talk. Sometimes it's just a short statement that emphasizes or that brings a correction to something. So that will be one of my contribution to say, you know what, ladies, let's use the social media, let's use the media. And another sickness that I have that irritates me, if news is coming from the Western, it's swallowed easily. But if it's coming from our own people who are writing about our own people, it's not given the same validation. right? And I think that's where we also have to work on each other, like us as a people, us as African people, us as African diaspora, to say it's high time we start believing in each other and our capabilities and what we say of each other, because it does make an impact. Because if I don't have respect of Sister Nana or Sister Sheila, if somebody else comes and say nonsense about her, will I stand there and defend her? No, hell no, I won't. And another thing is, we, instead of like pulling each other apart as sisters, women together, and pulling out the differences, I think we should also stand there and support each other. Build those networks that will say, you know what, we build each other. We are connecting of dots and connecting of different different groups and different maybe fields, if I can put like as fields. Like, let's connect those dots and fill in where we meet, right? And then use that as a platform to carry each other. I don't know if it's going somewhere.
Of course it's going somewhere. Thank you, Sister Bimbaye. Yes, what I will pull out from what you said especially is that we don't have to agree on everything to unite or support one another. And I say that I'm very passionate about that, because sometimes we think that is true. Like, we have to think exactly the same way about everything, but we don't. If we say that it's actually, if we recognize that together we are stronger, and we think, okay, so what are the main things that we need to agree on and focus on those, then yes, why can we not all be on the same platform and say we will rally round Mama Samia and do what we can in our own small way. And it doesn't have to be on a very large level, but imagine lots of us making these small changes will amount to a very big change, and the energetic impact of that we won't know. So thank you so much for saying that, Sister Bimbaye. Sister Francesca, where do you stand? What would you like to add to what you say about what we can, or what perhaps is our duty to do as women, in how we deal with or prevent negativity? I think she's trying to connect. If she's able to come back, then we'll let Sister Francesca. You're back. Can you hear me, Sister Francesca?
Thank you. Yes, I can hear you. Luckily, yeah.
Please,
so
please go ahead.
I think a lot of the points have already been said, but you know how we met Sister Angela, because of our belief in the power of motherhood. So in this whole equation, as we tackle social injustice, and in particular, gender-based violence, whatever injustices against women and girls, for me, the approach is, I'm a mother. I have 2 daughters and a son. How am I preparing them to be citizens that are going to be responsible, respective of any human being, no matter who they are, no matter where they come from? So as a mother, I realized when I became a student mom at 22 and 23, love engulfed me. Responsibility, the instinct to protect, the instinct to just see my children become these human beings that are beautiful. So I know from my youth that I have that power as a mom. So my question, or my invite to us as a people, as a motherhood, is, let's start teaching the children from home. Let's start undoing the culture that tells the boy child, you can laze around while the girl does the work. You can have all the time to go to school while the girl is slaving for the family. The same with mothers. How does a son who's suckled from my breast, whose mouth suckled from my breast, begin to say disrespectful profanities against their own mother? Where are they getting that from? Someone asked earlier. So for me, let's begin with the very basic things. How are we treating the girl children in the home? How are we treating the boy children? Are the boys washing and cooking? Because in my house, I found out it's the power differential. If you value the boy more, he is going to go out the world there and start projecting that to the world. I want to tell a short story. A boy called Vinny, when I was 10, we were in grade 4. Vinny came and kicked me hard from behind. Vinny said I will not be beaten by a girl in school. And I was the bright student who was always in the top 3. Vinny was number 4 going onwards. He came and beat me. But guess what? You didn't know that I had a brother who was always beating me at home. My brother was giving me boxing practice. I beat the wits out of Vinny. I beat him. I don't know if it's his mother. Sister Sheila said it was fathers, right? I don't know if it's his mother who told him, you don't get beaten by a girl. Vinny was 10, I was 10. He already knew that when a woman is too smart, you beat them. But he beat the wrong one. So I want to tell mothers and fathers and people out there, let's begin in the home. Let's correct that system that tells lies to boys that they are better children, that they are more powerful, they deserve better pay. Everywhere they go, they deserve special treatment. I'm a mother of 2 girls and a son. Mine, they will tell you now if they come to the show, our mother was no nonsense. To the girls, I said, don't get too excited that mama is a woman, so she's on her side. No, it's equal. You do what the boy does what you do in my home, period. And the boy, you are not any special, especially because you are just one boy in the family. There's nothing special about you. I want you to know, if I die today, the little things that I have, it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I did that because I did not come from a family that was equal. And I say it with respect to my family. They did the best that they did with what they knew. So in the families, someone said religion, I'll bring culture. We say culture, girls shut up. You don't talk in this family. So let's change those things. And as mothers, we have power. We have these experiences of boys doing things to us. But we are saying now that we know better, can we change that? And imagine if all mothers changed such behavior, such treatment, started being equal in the home. Then it trickles to the schools, trickles to the workplace, trickles to the presidential level. We won't have many boys shouting, saying obscenities, disrespectful things, because we have started by telling them, let's just agree, boys, that you are the same as girls in this house. So that's how I raise my son. I'm not saying I have it figured out, but I'm here because of that connection of the power of motherhood. We have the power to change this narrative. Let's begin by doing the work with ourselves. How do we speak about each other as women? How do we feel about each other as women? How did the system raise us to go one after the other? We fight over these men anyway. So they know. One wife is pulling the hair of a girlfriend. We are fighting for them. They know they are more important. Can we change that narrative ourselves? Read our reality and write our own story. In terms of media, create these platforms. Thank you for this platform where we can exercise our voices, be seen, be heard, and change the narrative. Thank you. I know I've said a lot, but that's what was coming in from my heart, that we can change this. We can change this narrative as women. Let's not even depend on anybody else but us.
Thank you, Sister Francesca. I'm a strong believer, or yes, that whatever is said is what needs to be said. So thank you very much. And it's the perfect place. You are with us here on not only Power to Our Mothers Foundation, but in collaboration with Speak Up and Empower. So, you know, we are in the right place to be doing those things, to speak up in the face of negativity, injustice, you know, mudslinging. And yes, it is important that, as Sister Francesca just says, that we look at ourselves. We look at how we're treating each of our fellow women, our fellow mothers, and the mothers are not the ones who have are not only the ones who have birthed children. Every woman who still has a womb is a mother. Either she's birthed children or she is mothering in other ways, and both are needed. Both are needed. We all have a role to play in that respect. But I'm conscious of time. Sister Candy, please do share what are your views? Where do you see our role as women in kind of offsetting or minimizing this negativity around our fellow women, and particularly our women leaders?
Well, I'm very, very disappointed that, and I find it very unfortunate that whilst the president was being inaugurated, people were calling her prostitutes. That is very unfortunate, especially as she hasn't done anything to warrant that sort of abuse. And I'll tell you something. Last week, a broadcaster in Ghana challenged the government over some money issues, and the minute she said it, people started calling her a prostitute. And she replied that at this time in our lives, to be called a prostitute is not an abuse. It is a badge of honor. It means she has challenged a man and he has nothing else to say but to resort to abuse. I think that we women ourselves should start being able, like the sister did, who fought the boy who challenged her and kicked her. This is how it should be. I think that it is very important, Sister Francesca, that we turn around and face whoever it is. How do you know that I'm a prostitute? Have you slept with me before? But that is not even important. The point is, whatever a woman wants to do in this time, once you have the education, you should forge forward. There is no time to spend exchanging words or calling people names or crying just because someone called you a name. Unless, of course, you are a prostitute. And even so, you are giving a service. Ladies, listen. If someone calls you a prostitute and you are indeed a prostitute, be proud, because you are giving a service. This world that we are in, we ourselves put ourselves in situations where it becomes untenable. We worry too much. We get hurt too quickly, because if you called a man a prostitute, he will find it funny. He will not care, because his friends will even pat him on the back. So I think those are some of the things. The other thing is, we do have the media. That is very powerful. It is the Western media, actually, who infiltrates with all sorts of information that you yourself, if you heard it, you wouldn't recognize yourself. Now, what we need to do is start changing the narrative. There is an African proverb that unless we tell our own story, somewhere else is going to tell it in their way. So we have to start telling our own story. We have to start looking at ourselves and dealing with ourselves. One of the things that I've also noticed is a lot of women are held back because their dreams are held back. And then they put all of their aspirations onto their children, with the hope that when the world gets a little bit more modernized, their children will have the chances that they didn't have. But in this world right now, we can see that there are women achieving things, and you can also achieve. It depends on what you want. It is not by force. But if you have a little dream, if you have something that you want to do, find ways of doing it. And you may never, as someone talked about Steve Jobs connecting the dots, and as we talked about the fluke. You will never know. If you believe in the power of the universe, this will change. And I have always thought previously that certain things would never happen in my lifetime. They're happening now. The minute I changed my mindset, I realized that they are actually happening now. So I think that we all should collectively start thinking together in a kind of way that is positive for women, by women, to women. Everything you do, think like that. This is how I think now. And I will say, and I say it all the time, that women can disappoint you. You will fight for a woman and she will turn and bite you. However, it is just her. There are 6, 7 women out there who will appreciate you. Things will happen if you just keep at it. This is my view. I'm very happy for Samia Suluhu. I hope that this is her time and she shouldn't waste it. That's all.
Thank you so much, Sister Candy. Wow, Sister Kiki. We literally could be here for another hour because there is so much to say. But I thank you all for joining us today, especially each of the sisters here, Sister Sheila, Sister Bimbaye, Sister Sasha, Sister Francesca, Sister Kiki, and Sister Adjoa, who dropped off a bit earlier, and the viewers for tuning in. And we need to do more of this. We may think that is, I'm not speaking to my sisters, I'm speaking to the viewers, that even gatherings like this are important so that we reaffirm one another and reaffirm a fellow sister, a fellow woman, a fellow mother. And as was shared, I think, on the platform, that, you know, this is how we change the narrative. We do it actively. We talk about it. We pass it on. That has a place. So I will just leave, if each of you, 30 seconds each, if you want to leave a parting message, please do, and then we will wrap up the discussion. Sister Sasha, 30 seconds. Would you like to leave any parting message for the viewers? Okay, let's unmute you.
Yes, what did you ask?
Okay, yeah. I asked if you wanted to leave a parting, if you wanted to leave a brief parting message for the viewers as we wrap up.
Okay, I can't hear you clearly. I think one of you, the mic is on and there's some background noise. So can someone mute their camera, and then, so that I can be able to hear what you're saying? Yes. Okay, now Sia.
Okay, Sister Sasha, yes. Yes, I said if you had like 30 seconds, do you have a parting message for the viewers?
Yes, I have a parting message. First of all, I just want to let you girls know that you're all looking so beautiful. And I I like the way the way when I look at the pictures, it's like this. So the 3 of you, you have braids, and for us, we have like afro. That's so beautiful. You know, so yeah, I'm blessed to have been in this platform to see very strong women, and I liked what every one of you was talking about and emphasizing on. So I've learned a lot, and like Sheila said and Francesca, what they said, it's about what kids are being taught at home. That's what they grow with. There is a time a guy attacked me and he beat me so bad, and unfortunately I'm not like Francesca who gave one a thorough beating. And I came to, yeah, I came to realize later he's very abusive. And later on, because he injured me, we used to work with him. He came and apologized, and he literally knelt down and he told me he grew up seeing his mom being beaten by his dad. So, and I helped him heal from that. I tried to help him heal from that. So yes, what they said, it begins from home. I will say, parents, stop telling us women what to wear. Teach your boys to deal with their minds, to tame their bodies. If we can do it, they can also do it. What Sheila said is very true. Since I was a child, I just knew my brother is a king. He never used to clean. He never used to do anything in the house. Like, and when we didn't have, like, when we were growing up and mom was teaching us how to do things, like she will divide his clothes between me and my sister. We have to clean for the king. We have to serve the king, you know. And the king, he grows up with that patriarchy mentality, which is what has broken the African people. And also, we also need to mend our homes. We also need to mend our homes if we are ever going to be able to fight what we are going through in Africa, because we are being led by men who are so broken by the system that is the only way they know. So even when they get to those top seats, all they know is to break their people. They were broken by oppression for too long. They were broken by slavery. And when we try to educate them, instead of them listening to us, they start to insult us, you know. So I will urge every African out there to self-educate yourself about our real history. Like when our grandmothers were being married, they were marrying for farms. They were getting married with someone who already has a house, someone who already has a farm. I grew up in both my grandparents, they were coffee and tea farmers. When I look back, the colonizers came and taught us that we are primitive and all that. So when I look back, I would ask us to go back to us, because I was thinking today and I was like, the life I'm living today and the life I was seeing when I was a child. Yeah, the life I was living as a child. I see our grandparents were so rich with so much. We have abandoned agriculture. Africa is not gonna go anywhere unless we educate ourselves. Africa is only going to be saved by skill. So we need, as we empower the youth, we need to make sure that we are empowering them with skills. That is the only thing that will save us. If a Chinese person can come here and build our infrastructure without speaking one word in English, I don't see why we abandon our traditions, our cultures, our languages. Like for me, the system I grew up with, Sheila can tell you, it's the British system. We used to be whooped in schools so that we stop speaking in Swahili, we speak in English. Okay, fine. It has helped me to interact with the world, but I think we should, we should just try and invest in our own education. So I think that's my parting shot. It was too long.
Thank you. Sorry, we're just conscious of time, so we really do need to close up the show. Sister Sheila, please. Any parting words?
My parting shot would be to have more conversations like this. Our words have power. Our words have got positive energy. Our words, when we speak like this, they are healing words, especially words of women. So we need to keep speaking positive words. Our words can make and our words can break. So this kind of conversations, as Bimbai said, we speak them in wherever we are. So for the people tuning in, thank you very much for coming to listen to us. And please let this be an inspiration for you to have conversations like this. We should know that whether we are facing grief, whether we are facing celebration, these are still things part and parcel of life. And we should always be speaking words of life in everything that we do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Sheila. Sister Bimbaye.
Sister Bimbai, you're muted. Sister Bimbai, you're on mute.
Sure. Can you hear?
Oh, sorry. I've been talking to myself. Sorry once again.
That's okay.
Yeah, now it's okay. Sorry. My boy was moving about, so just to be on the safe side, I'm muted. Sorry about that. Okay, so I was saying I am honored to be here. Thank you once again for this invitation. And I'll say to the President of Tanzania, thank you so much for standing up and congratulations to you. Yes, we are yet to see what she will do herself. And I also pray and hope that she will follow the path that was set. The bar has been raised very high. As we see a few ladies coming in, taking these high positions, we know it has been a challenge. And I'll say I would love her to know, and all other ladies who have taken these different positions, to know they are not alone. They should look, even if, you know, we are not there at the same level, they should know that there are other women around who are standing there, who are backing them up, who are following what they're doing, who are also learning from them. So that's my position to the big ladies who are up there, and to ask the younger ones and those who are behind us to say, you know what, as we are aspiring and following our dreams and learning along the way, you can also learn. It's never too late. If you have a dream that you pegged for whatever reason, pick up that dream, make a life, and stand up for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Vimbaye. Sister Francesca, just a few parting words, please.
Yeah, thank you, and I'll be brief. Thank you so much for these platforms. Women should be visible. Women should be allowed to be vulnerable. Women should be authentic. I thank you, everyone, beautiful women on the screen, for this conversation. Let it go on. I invite you, as the author of Mother Behold Thy Son, as my contribution to the debate, to the education, to the emancipation that we need as African mothers. This is not anybody's agenda. This is our agenda from our experience. Let's get out there and educate each other, be in conversations like this, so that we truly empower ourselves and we stand for what is right in Africa, our mother Africa, without compromising our values, without selling it to those that think they can help us. And to Mama Samia, I wish her the best. And I hope she'll be a true mama who will look after not only the children of Tanzania, but set the record straight for the world that mothers can lead. The feminine can lead. The power of the feminine lies in love, and we have it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Francesca. And last but not least, Sister Kiki.
I like being last all the time. I have nothing to say more than everyone has said everything, and let us hope that women are empowered by just this show. Anyone who sees it feels empowered. Women everywhere should share their power with other people, and let us all be what we want to be. Bye-bye, be well.
Thank you so much, Sister Kiki. Thank you to all the sisters on the platform. Thank you to you, the viewers, for joining us this evening. Let's keep the conversation going. If you would like to hear about the power of the intuitive womb, join me immediately after this program on Proud to Our Mothers, or Speak Up and Empower Africa. And let's continue learning. Have a good rest of the evening. Goodbye.